In the misty mountains of rural China, where clouds kissed the snow-capped peaks and eagles soared through the boundless sky, there lived a boy named Liang, just 11 years old. Liang was small for his age, yet he was overflowing with a giant spirit. Their reputation echoed through the valleys and mountain passes, drawing gasps of awe and murmurs of disbelief. They're using vines and strips of cloth. He would fashion a rope from one sturdy branch to another and practice his stunts. He had learned to walk, spin, kneel, and even dance on the rope, with nothing but the sky beneath him and the clouds at his feet. No one had dared cross it since old Mr. Chun. The elders exchanged glances. His father, a burly man with calloused hands, helped tighten the ropes and ensure every knot was secure. And firecrackers painted the sky with their fiery hues. Below him, the river rushed like a restless dragon, its roar echoing the pounding of his heart. But Liang wasn't afraid. With a deep breath, he placed one foot on the rope and started his journey. As the crowd gathered near the canyon, red lanterns danced in the gentle breeze, casting dancing shadows on the faces below. From that day on, Liang became known as the Little Dragon of the Mountains. People from neighboring villages came to watch him walk between clouds and rope. But for Liang, it was never about the fame or the adulation. It was about the freedom, the joy of defying gravity, and the thrill of flying, if only for a moment, and showing the world that even the smallest feet can leave the biggest footprints in the sky. And in the center of it all stood Liang, small yet resolute, wearing his new robe and clutching his balance pole. He bowed deeply to the crowd, then turned towards the sky rope. His mother, her face etched with worry, yet her hands steady, stitched him a red robe embroidered with golden clouds. And his little sister, her eyes shining with pride, fashioned a charm for him to keep in his pocket. They knew the dangers of the sky rope, the dizzying heights, the swaying winds, and the terrifying drop into the raging river below. But they also saw the determination in Liang's eyes, a reflection of his grandfather's fearless spirit. So they agreed, and the preparations began. The birds would gather in the branches above, perching like spectators at a wondrous performance. Halfway across, he paused, his muscles taut, his eyes unwavering. Then he did something that made the crowd gasp. Liang wobbled, his balance pole tilted dangerously, and the crowd fell silent, holding their breaths. But Liang, remembering his grandfather's words, "Become the wind, don't fight it," relaxed his body, bent his knees, and swayed with the rhythm of the rope. Slowly, he regained his balance and continued his journey. One step, two steps, and finally, he leapt onto the final platform. He lifted one foot off the rope, balancing on the other, and stood like a crane taking flight, his arms outstretched. He looked like he was about to soar through the clouds. The audience erupted in cheers, their voices mingling with the sound of the drums. His grandfather, old Mr. Chun, was known as the Flying Crane. "My boy," he said, stroking his long white beard, "the Festival of Dragons is coming in 3 days. We want you to perform a stunt that will light the sky and remind everyone of your grandfather's legacy." Liang's eyes sparkled. "I will walk the sky rope," he declared, referring to the legendary rope that stretched across the deep canyon. Legend had it that he once walked between 2 cliffs without a safety rope, disappearing and reappearing between the rocks like a crane taking flight. Liang had inherited his grandfather's sense of balance, his courageous heart, and his insatiable sense of wonder. His house, a tiny wooden structure that looked like a bird's nest, was perched precariously on the edge of a cliff. And his village, well, it was up in the clouds, so high that it seemed the world below belonged to someone else. Leon's family were rope walkers, daredevils who balanced on tight ropes and performed death-defying stunts. Every morning, after sipping tea with his family and helping his father mend fishing nets, Liang would race to his favorite pine tree. One day, the village elder, a man with a long white beard and eyes that twinkled like stars, visited Liang. The sky rope was more than just a rope. It was a lifeline connecting to distant cliffs, a challenge whispered about in hushed tones by the villagers. For the next 2 days, Liang trained relentlessly. Finally, the day of the festival arrived. The entire village turned into a sea of vibrant colors. Drums echoed through the mountains. It swayed gently in the breeze, teasing him with its movement, mocking him with its height. Each step was a battle against the rocking motion of the rope, each movement a testament to his courage and skill. But just when Liang began his descent, a sudden gust of wind swept through the canyon, shaking the rope violently. The crowd went wild, throwing flower petals into the air. Liang had done it. He had danced in the sky and emerged victorious.